I'm not a pushover. Hashtag you can't fool me.
Hashtag circle sisters. Hashtag you can count on me.
Hashtag send help.
Hashtag the producers are paying me per hashtag I use. Hashtag cursed. Hey, it's Nicole. You don't care that much? Let's move on. So The Circle is a reality competition that is Big Brother meets Catfish. Just like in Big Brother, we watch players who are isolated from the outside world in one building, form strategic alliances, and vote each other out. The last player standing in the competition wins a cash prize of $100,000. Unlike Big Brother, Circle contestants live in different apartments of the same building as opposed to in the same house together, and that means that Circle players can neither see nor hear each other. They can only interact through a semblance of social media, which entails just bios and profile pictures and the ability to group message and direct message each other. The host calls the Circle a social media competition to become the most popular person. The interesting part, however, is that you can either enter and play as yourself, or you can create a fake profile and use someone else's pictures, aka catfishing. The 2021 US season starts off with 3 out of the 8 contestants as catfishes. I enjoy this element because I think it keeps the contestants on their toes and suspicious of every little detail. Also, while a common complaint with this kind of social reality competition show is that the show ends up devolving into purely a popularity contest based on conventional attractiveness, The Circle de-emphasizes looks because no one can really tell what's real or not. Let's go through each of the contestants and what I perceive to be their strategies going in. I'm not sure if the players just didn't want to reveal too much off the bat, or they didn't really think it was that deep, but regardless, there isn't a lot to go off of. We first meet Savannah, a data researcher.
I'm fun, I'm social, I love glitz and glam.
She's obviously beautiful and is going in as herself.
The girl who is at home with her glasses on, probably gaming in front of her computer, you already know it.
Clearly her role is to be the gorgeous yet intelligent girl, but not to give too much away right now, she doesn't make the smartest moves. Her strategy going in?
I think making friends and building alliances are of the utmost importance to me.
Savannah walks us through the voice-activated platform and sets up her profile. The most unrealistic part here is how quickly she and everyone else is able to come up with their bio. Here, I do want to say that The Circle draws upon a lot of elements and terminology of social media, especially becoming an influencer. In some areas, if not immediately obvious, the comparison feels very forced. The stated objective is to become the most popular person, but being popular on social media is a one-to-many relationship involving millions or hundreds of millions of people. And that's dramatically different from having to form connections with just 7 other people. In that one-to-many relationship with your followers, there tends to be a target audience. Like, a pretty model might attract a lot of young girls who want to become like her. So while it is a thing that attractive people are seen as more trustworthy and tend to be more likable, that cannot be your whole strategy, especially in this scenario where you might come across as too good to be true and no one knows if you're real. Jack is an astrophysics student pretending to be his friend Emily.
If Emily was actually here right now instead of me, I might be like, hashtag rosé all day.
Honestly, he's pretty good at making fun of the influencer type, and I find him pretty entertaining. So Catfish Emily's strategy is to go in as a pretty girl because pretty women are more successful influencers. Catfish Emily also plans to get really manipulative and be the season's villain. Bryant is a hippie who teaches breathwork.
It's gonna be a good day.
Breathwork helps you become your own guru, where you can change stress into bliss.
He seems like a genuinely nice guy, and that seems to be his strategy, to be his genuine, authentic self. None of that, please. Know your audience, dude. Deleesa is catfish number 2, posing as her husband, Trevor, and pretending that he is a single dad.
He's handsome, but he's not considered a threat.
Catfish Trevor's strategy is to gain sympathy points and attract women because the theory is
Single dads, they get all the ladies.
Terilisha is a substitute teacher who seems to have a finely tuned catfish meter or really just bullshit meter in general.
Behind this is a very smart cookie. Math just happened to be my strong suit growing up.
Lee is catfish number 3, using his friend River's photos. Unlike Catfish Emily and Catfish Trevor, he's not pretending to be his friend. He's just using the photos and creating an entirely fictional persona.
Period T, I mean it. Yeah, exactly. GOATs, greatest of all time. I don't know YOLO. As a writer, I guess that makes me a professional liar, so I don't think anybody has a chance.
Catfish River's strategy apparently is to just make shit up. Chloe is a British woman who surprisingly did not find everlasting love on the Netflix show Too Hot to Handle, which is where singles try not to have sex with each other.
I won about $10.50.
Courtney is a celebrity pop culture show host.
Most common misconception about me is that I'm a bitch.
His strategy is to be friendly, then not.
I'm going into the circle as a barista. I am going to be very friendly, and then when the time comes, I'll be the little chihuahua that bites Deleesa.
The players start messaging and accruing suspicions.
Give us the 411. That sounds like some old people shit.
Cool message. Hey all, I'm so on fire to be here.
It's just me and her at home.
See, Trevor is just giving me, I don't know about Trevor.
Damn, that is sad. And I do think he's genuine, so I believe it, but also it's like, yo, let me drop that sympathy card in real quick.
Bryant immediately comes on way too strong and rubs people the wrong way.
This totally sounds like something Bryant would do, bro. He's like, through my power of breath work.
Everybody is probably like, oh my God, he's such a good friend.
People think he's too good to be true, aka catfish, and or think he's a threat to their game. Not smart. I think the way to go would be to introduce yourself as non-threateningly as possible, aka not too much personality, and offer as many points of potential common ground as you can. Nothing too basic like what you might find in a Tinder bio, but some mutual disclosure about your personal life seems to do well for building trust. Tests well in the focus groups. Anyway, Catfish Emily sets up a girl group chat.
Start a group chat with Chloe, Savannah, Terilisha, and myself. And can we call it Girls Just Wanna Have Fun?
And Savannah immediately expresses her doubts about Trevor.
Circle message. I'm not saying that he isn't who he says he is, but the fact that Trevor keeps saying hashtag I'm a fun guy is rubbing me the wrong way.
I think she should have kept her cards to herself, but I have definitely blurted out things that I shouldn't have under pressure, so let's chalk it up to that.
I don't want to say. Why did I say that? Why?
This still comes back to bite her in the ass, especially after she and Trevor bond through a later conversation. Other contestants message each other privately to build rapport.
Hashtag mama's boy.
Hashtag your big bro. Hashtag keeping hope alive. A hashtag girl gang.
I don't know, sometimes I'm unsure whether the contestants are actually coming up with these messages unedited, but also I can't completely rule out them just being this corny. Using hashtags as a theme for the 2 to 3 sentences you've just said is such a Love Island producer kind of thing.
Hashtag savage.
Hashtag shocking.
Hashtag threesome. Hashtag mouth to mouth.
In real life, I usually see people use hashtags for hopping onto trending topics. The contestants rank each other from 1 to 8, with Bryant predictably being on the bottom and Terilisha and Savannah being the top 2. This gives them influencer status, or the power to save one person each from elimination or being blocked the next day. At this point, I was like, Savannah, please do not save Trevor. You shouldn't have raised suspicions about him so early, but considering you already did and can't change that, 3 people already know that you were suspicious of him. Even though you had that conversation with him, he ranked highly and you'd want to keep him in the game, you don't have to make it so obvious. It could be really useful to have an unlikely ally. There could have been a chance for Savannah to talk Terilisha out of nixing Trevor when they privately communed to decide who to block, but making a public flip-flop was not a good look, especially when there's already so little information about you that people have to make judgments off of. And, don't forget, in saving Trevor and passing over Chloe, Savannah has already made it clear that she's not looking out for the girl group. Of course, Savannah proceeds to save Trevor, and Terilisha saves Emily. In my mind, if Savannah wasn't going to save Chloe initially, she should have been sure that she could get Chloe eliminated, not keep her around, because now she's got one enemy.
I have all intentions of keeping my promise to you girls because I know we can all help each other make it to the end. However, I'm worried she might doubt my intentions because I didn't save her last night, which makes me think she might not have my back in the future. I want to keep Chloe because I want to keep my word. In the group chat today that I had with Chloe and Emily, I promised them that I was going to have Chloe's back. So if I don't have Chloe's back in this, then I lose Emily. And if I lose Emily, then I lose Bryant, and then I fuck myself over.
Then why did you just say to Terilisha that you were worried about her earlier? It just doesn't make sense. I think she should have saved Chloe, warned Trevor beforehand, and then tried her best to convince Terilisha not to dump Trevor. Maybe Savannah could have been like, yes, he ranked highly, but that's because people were voting strategically. He's not a threat because clearly everyone is already suspicious of him and he can just get him out a next round. Or she could have made the point that they didn't want to show their hand too early with such a bold/risky move and they should just go with someone safe, like Bryant. Ultimately, in deciding who to dump, Savannah and Terilisha butt heads and ultimately decide to dump Bryant. When a contestant gets blocked, they can visit another player of their choice. So Bryant visits Catfish River and they hug it out. Again, Bryant seems like a nice guy, but naive about the point of this game. To replace Bryant in one of the endless what the hell is going on moments,
Already? Did Brian even get to leave the building?
we learned that Lance Bass is coming in. Actually though, it's Lance Bass's personal assistant, which brings our Catfish numbers up to 4 out of 8. Catfish Lance immediately messes up when she jokes that Lance would use the prize money to fund the next NSYNC World Tour.
I think that's like kind of cheeky.
What?
An NSYNC tour is no bueno.
The lesson here is to err on the side of caution when using humor, and for the love of God, if you're gonna make a joke, make sure it's funny. The next activity gets wild when Terilisha, after secretly telling the other two girls that Savannah was ready to dump one of them, calls Savannah out publicly.
He's the biggest game player in the circle.
Be scared to shake shit up.
Every opportunity that she's had to badmouth me, she has taken.
Message, Savannah, send.
Is it that I'm a game player or that you see me as a threat?
That's cute, but you definitely did keep a promise. Snake emoji, hashtag, threat, where, send.
She says one thing, then does another.
She'll say anything to get you to like her.
But when she's an influencer,
She won't save you.
I would tell you to trust me, but I'll leave that up to you.
I experienced this firsthand, and because of me, some of you are still here.
Savannah, collect that wig!
Wow, Jesus!
Terilisha may be a vegan, but it's beef tonight for dinner.
From there, alliances are solidified and sides picked. Savannah tries to get Chloe and Emily on her side, and the two tell her that they'll have her back.
Influencer chat, I do not, in caps, trust Terilisha.
If you can serve my game well, I'm gonna make you feel as good as I can about me.
All this drama costs Savannah and Terilisha though, because from their top spots in the last round, they fall to the bottom two. This time there's no save and they just directly block Savannah. On her way out, Savannah is told to visit the person who she thinks should win, and she visits Courtney. She does her best to sway the game against Terilisha by telling Courtney that she wanted him gone. Savannah's choice actually gives Courtney some inner circle advantage, which I presume will be revealed in the next episode. So all that was just the first 4 episodes. Since there was a previous season of The Circle and also it is in other countries, it originally aired in the UK, there's been some time to discuss whether The Circle is actually trying to say anything about how we connect with each other. I'll be the first to say that it's fine if a reality show doesn't have a message, but this one seems to be on the cusp of trying to say something. Clearly, The Circle shows how everything is not as it seems on social media, with how much we filter before we send message. Whether intentional or not, having contestants read out their messages, emojis and horrible hashtags and all, makes the communication absurd. I don't know if that speaks so much to social media though, or the clunkiness of the show's format. It might also seem that The Circle is trying to portray the good side of social media through chats that are supposed to be touching, where people will mutually disclose past trauma to each other. Except such fast-paced connections are built through contestants desperately trying to latch on to some point of common ground, which they will then immediately use to their advantage, which to me undercuts that point. Especially since so many of the conversations seem to be less than 10 messages total, just based on the start and closing of the chats, it's hard to believe that they find anything believable themselves. But it's reality TV, probably not that deep. The Circle is best viewed solely as entertainment, and it really hit different for me at 2 a.m. on a Saturday. Maybe it's the taboo feeling of watching people outright rank each other socially. Maybe it's the strategy element of watching people try to work a social dynamic with extreme limitations. Or maybe it's the absurd cast of characters who say the darndest things.
I don't think England and America have ever had a war.
Regardless, guilty pleasure for sure. Alright, that's it for now. See y'all.